Welcome to Oh and We Talking,
You
or
got it right again.
Two Millennials Surviving.
We're a weekly pod, not a pod.
So, I'm going to get straight into it because it's very late. And us nanas, it's sleep time already.
It's past our sleep time, but we also gotta keep it quick because we are dog sitting, and the pup is sleeping in the other room,
And he's very
Alexis can't
naughty.
wake him up.
Alrighty. So, what are we talking about after last week's serious topic? We're going to make it a little bit lighthearted.
I had an interesting conversation with a colleague the other day, just about like they had hosted a bunch of friends over there, and it was just what their expectations were.
Yeah.
And they thought it was completely normal, which I had to keep my mouth shut about because I didn't want to piss them off, but it was interesting. So for those who clearly don't know yet, which most of you all know because you all know us, we were brought up in India. So very Asian, like imbibed with Asian culture, and we moved here in our early 20s. So we still have very Asian thinking.
Mix of both, I'd say. Oh, 100%. 100%
So a
Indian.
combination of both. Go watch our
Yes.
first video to see all about it. We'll put it up here. So yes, I was talking to a friend the other day. He was talking about how when he had a whole bunch of his like mates over, he said something very interesting, and he said that he expected them to just bring their own food. When I was like, oh, so you mean like a potluck? Was this discussed earlier? He said, no, like we just knew what my partner and I were going to have, and we didn't think it was necessary that others need to know what it is. And so when they were coming in, they just told them like, whatever you feel like getting, you get it. Like, this is what we're having. And you know how we're normally used to at least having something to serve.
Always.
It's commonplace for them to
Yeah.
not.
I've seen that.
It's different for different cultures. It's different for different households, I guess.
Yeah, and it's to each their own. Yes. I mean, the way I grew up or where we were raised, especially in South Asian cultures. If someone's coming home, I have like, even if I can't cook, I don't cook much. I need to still have a lot of things for the person. I need to have snacks. I need to have drinks. I need to have dessert. I need to have chocolates. I need my house needs to be stacked up. Because you know what, if I remember the other day we had some guests coming and me and my partner were like, oh, we'll get ice cream, but what if they don't like chocolate? Let's get strawberry as well. It's just the whole idea behind that is that whoever's coming to your house, they must be fed well, and that's my way, at least, of showing my love
Just
language,
you. I think
right?
it's just very
Our love language is a culture. I
yeah,
think.
that's what I mean. It's not
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Saying it's this place
I
where we
meant,
grew up
yes.
because I guess the way everyone's just comfortable showing love where we grew up, let's just say India here, because Indians, is food, love languages.
100%.
So you can't enter an Indian house and then leave without eating something
Yeah.
or drinking something.
Or-
That's blasphemy, and that's you showing disrespect.
And I think we're carrying that from our parents, grandparents.
Yep.
And that's
The whole country,
Yep.
essentially. Yeah.
And
so
again, it's not like we're either of us are judging someone else, but at least you can't expect to come to our place and not get food.
But that got me thinking about differences, things that we are used to because you grew up in a certain culture, and that's maybe not as commonplace in different parts of the world. And this is just one of them, because
Absolutely.
there's nothing to do with New Zealand, right? Like New Zealand is a melting pot of different cultures at the end of the day. So you do have different countries around the world where it is very common, even if you have a guest at home and it's your dinner time, for them to just sit over there while you eat your food.
Yeah.
And that's completely normal for them, while it may not be normal for us.
To be fair, I do that. I know it's not normal.
She takes food from everyone. Like that's not her saying, "Oh, the guest can be there. I don't give a shit."
No, I
She will
don't do
just-
that.
She will probably offer food to the guest and still be like, "Oh, I want it from your plate," and she will eat it from there.
No, I have said dinner time, so I do that.
But you still serve them food.
Of course.
Yeah, we're not talking that.
Anyway, yeah, absolutely.
So what are the other differences that you notice? The way people are hosted is one of them. And we know there is a whole bunch of differences that we've noticed, and like we can easily think of the most common thing between Asian and non-Asian households is footwear in the house or not, which now not so Asian or non-Asian. I think
it's
just very much from household to household.
And a more hygienic cleanliness thing, I'd say. Is the another thing I did notice, a lot of I mean, non-Asians, I'd say at least. I've seen her wear footwear on the bed, and my heart just goes like, I mean, I know if I did that as a kid, I'd have like something.
More than that, keeping your foot on a book.
Oh, okay. So that bothers me till today. And it's a thing for those who aren't Indian and are watching this. If so, book equals to knowledge. Knowledge equivalent to it's holy. As simple as that, right? And the moment if you step on a book or a paper or a pen, this automatically happens.
She
For
does that
disrespecting,
even if random things on the road. Like, it's not just books.
but it's like if I'm disrespecting knowledge. Yeah, it bothers me till now.
Yeah, and it is such an Indian thing because there was
Yeah.
an ad, and I don't remember
I know with the
brand that ad was for,
the
which
lady was
company
wearing
or the brand.
heels on a book. I
Yep,
think
they were heels and like books were stacked on
Stacked,
stairs,
yes.
and she had like one foot on like one pile of books and another foot on another pile of books, and it was considered to be like groundbreaking. But all the Indians, most of us anyway, looked at that and we were like, collectively we had trauma. Collectively there was backlash. We were like, we could never. We probably imagined our ancestors coming down and smacking us, even though we were not the ones who was stepping on it.
But again, if you ask, we don't know why we're doing this. I think it's just
Well, we know
ingrained into us as a kid. It's just about respect. I think it comes down.
Yeah.
That's what we've grown up all hearing, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
And-
That's like a beautiful collective experience.
Yeah.
But I found that quite hilarious because just how collectively we were all traumatized by that one ad.
Absolutely. Another one that so growing up in India, how I'm used to hot food, right? Being served. So my mom's really strict about food. And I mean, she would be like, yep, if it's something for lunch, I can have for dinner, but nothing over 24 hours. And if it's bread specifically, so over 48 hours, 3 days maximum, no, you can't eat. Also, I'm from Calcutta, a very hot, humid place, so it would get moldy, right? So you can't eat old food rather. Coming here, that's not the case. I found it really difficult to actually have food which is 2 days old. Like now I can do 3 days I can do. But my husband, who was born here, and he has bread and there's mold in it, he'll just shave it off and eat it. At least in India, I know a lot of people, even now, they don't eat a lot of like old food.
Now that we think about it, there's a lot to unpack there because usually it's a label put on women because they make
Yes.
fresh food morning, afternoon, evening. It may not be the case anymore. Modern
Yeah.
relationships, different topic. Hey, but when we grew up, it very much was fresh food in the morning,
yes.
afternoon, and evening. And as we were kids, we didn't think about who were making them for us.
We're just eating it. And coming here, I know I struggled with it to eat like 2-3 days. I know you did too.
I still do.
Yeah, I know.
That's also why I end up getting takeout every day because I can't cook every day.
Yes, I think that was definitely hard.
It's still an adjustment.
Yeah, it is. And especially like because my partner grew up here, for him, he can have like 10 days in the fridge. It's fine.
He freezes it though, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he'll freeze it. Like I go to my in-laws and they have like frozen bread and they're like, please do it. I'm like, it's really sweet. But I'm just like, bread. Mom's gonna hit me if I have anything 2 days old. I can't do it.
I know. I think my funny moment when I came over here was like the concept of storing food in the fridge to have the following day obviously was alien to me. So I automatically thought, oh, even in the fridge, it's going to go bad. So when I had leftover rice the first time I cooked over here, capsicum rice, I still remember it to the day. I was like, I still have a lot of rice left because I was used to, anytime I cook back home, it would be for all of us. I did not know how to cook for just myself just yet. So I was looking at all that food. I didn't want to keep it in the fridge because I thought it would go bad the next day. I immediately froze it just to have the following day. It was frozen, and then I took it out the next day and I had no idea how to thaw it. And then I was like, I can't cook it because then the rice will become mushy. Do I just microwave it? Sure. But when I microwaved it, well, it was half cold, half icy. Very hot, some of it. It was the most non-uniform, unthawed food I'd ever seen. So I chucked it in the microwave a few times till the plate was, I think, almost ready to burst. And for it to be somewhat edible. That happened a couple of times till I Googled and realized, it is actually safe to keep food in the fridge.
Yeah, it is. It is completely okay to have food in the fridge for a few days and it's going to be fine, depending, of course, on what it is. But cultural differences.
No way.
The other thing is that over here, if someone's giving you a gift, they put a receipt with it, right?
Ooh, spicy. The first time I saw that, it was at a uni mate's party. I was still channeled to the way we do it back home,
Yeah.
which is you just give them a gift.
Yeah.
You don't think about returns or what. You just
Yeah.
think because it's your friend, you really look into what they like.
Yeah.
Like, it was a uni friend, and we had other uni mates who came in, and he gave a box and he also gave a receipt. And we were, a bunch of us were just there, I was looking at that, and I found that incredibly odd. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I also don't want to ask and piss anyone off. So I asked the friend whose birthday it was a little later, and I'm like, is this normal? Like, what's going on? Because he was from Fiji. And he was like, yeah, man, this is kind of weird for me too, but then it's normal over here. Ye sab chalta hai. So I'm like, okay. And now I know it's because the thought is if they don't like the present, they can return
exchange,
it.
which
and
is
exchange
great.
it.
Which is actually great. You know why? Because since I was a kid and people used to give me gifts and I'm very grateful for it, but then I'm like, I'm not going to use it. So you might as well either get something I like.
You know, that's a very Rachel thing to say.
I know, but I can't help it. I know it's not going to go down well, but I'm very grateful for everything anyone gives me, right? But if
As
I'm not,
long as it's exchangeable.
but no, I'll keep it. But then if I don't like something, I'm not going to use it. So then might as well just get me something I like.
Yeah, get you something.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So, receipt?
Oh no, I don't need the receipt. But then if I don't like it, I'll be like, hey, can you exchange? I actually like this. I do really like it.
I would rather they take some time to think. I've done this to her as well. Christmas, she was like, no, you tell me what you want. I'm like, why should I tell you what I
But I've always nailed
You're my
every gift.
friend. But, believe you me, if it's a close friend, they got to do the work. I'm not going to tell them what I like.
But
You remember the time when you were trying to ask and I said, just give me yourself at the bow. I don't care.
I have always nailed every gift.
Yes, you have. Yes, she has. Although at one point she was close to giving me a strawberry with a bow because I wasn't giving her anything.
But thankfully that didn't happen. The last minute pressure makes me think.
Exactly. Just walk at the mall.
we still- we
Let the
still-
creativity juices come in.
I feel like we still need to give each other birthday presents. My Christmas present is still coming.
Yes, it is. You will know what to get.
September, apparently.
Christmas present, birthday presents, wedding present.
I'm okay if someone doesn't give me anything. I'm just like, if someone's giving me something, I'd rather someone give me what I like. And you know me, everyone
I
does.
also distinctly remember you telling me, I don't mind if someone else gives me, you better not give me a present.
Yeah, that doesn't apply to you.
So I'm talking about wedding present to you.
Fine, then give it to me. I'm still waiting.
Like,
Anyway,
squabbles.
so the other thing, remembering, another spicy one is how in India, age equals to respect. Like you have to respect the elderly. Doesn't matter what they're saying, you have to respect them, even by the name, how you address them, what you call them. So an example, right? When I came here for the first time, my first class ever at uni, back in India, at least back in those days, I couldn't just enter a class. If a teacher is there, I had to take permissions. I was like, hey, can I enter? Of course, the professor was really shocked. Like, why is she asking? Hey, my name's Christopher. You can call me Chris. I was like, what?
so sorry.
I'm going to call you sir. How can I call you Chris? Is that normal? And then again in India, you had to take permission, right? Before you want to go washroom. And I really needed to go to the washroom. And I just saw someone just walk out of class with their books and everything mid-class. And I'm just like, where am I? This world doesn't exist.
What disrespect is this? And how is this man just taking this disrespect?
I know. How is this happening? What is happening? So can I just go use a bathroom? or not? I love that.
Like you earn your respect from what you do.
Yeah, not by age, not by authority.
Because that's a big thing in Asia in general, right? Like extending beyond uni or
Yeah,
work or
100%.
school. Like we're even talking at home, like you have to.
Yeah.
If
Whoever
an uncle
the
or aunt or grandparent has come
yeah.
and told you something has to be done, if you question it, you're
You're wrong.
disrespectful.
You're
How
absolutely
dare you question your elders?
blindly follow them is what we've been told.
Yeah, because if you question, then you're being disrespectful. That's an automatic connection over there, which is
We're
not
very
something.
disrespectful.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah, we've been labeled problematic and disrespectful because we question all of these things they just tell us. It
Blindly
doesn't make
follow.
sense to us.
That's fine.
Oh, well. And that, interestingly, is beyond just Indian. It spans all of Asia
Asia, yes.
and Middle East as well, because
Yes.
we're all. It's interesting how we all share that common thought in the
we
entire
do.
area. What do you guys think about this?
We'd love to know in the comments.
Oh, here's a big one. Well, big one. You know how in India, when we talk about celebrating birthdays, it
Yeah.
is on the birthday person to throw the party for others, which also means we end up
Paying for it. Yeah.
their dinner or lunch. or whatever we do.
Yay.
But it is entirely different here, and that also extends beyond just birthdays. Let's say we have
Any celebration.
let's say we, as friends, if our parents met their friends,
Hmm.
they would have a literal battle over who's going to pay the
Yes.
bill. There's no
Oh,
talk
yeah,
of
yeah.
splitting, or at least when we grew up. I don't know how it is now. I'm
100%.
sure it's different now.
Yeah.
But when we grew up, there was no talk of splitting the bill. It was
Yeah.
always, no.
Yeah.
You dare not pay. Like, we gotta pay.
Absolutely.
But when it's a birthday, it is a birthday person's responsibility
Yes.
to pay for the party.
Whoever they're calling, whether it's a 5% dinner
Yeah,
or
or like
50%
2%
dinner.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like they're the one splurging for it.
Because
which also-
they're inviting for their own birthday.
yeah, and they're getting presents. So,
which they can't exchange. Right, yeah, but I feel like it's good in a way here. There's no expectation. There's too much pressure, I feel.
also, guys, it's not too expensive here. You
Things
can't
are too
actually even expect that.
Okay, on another note, my husband was talking about a BYO wedding. His and my Indian parents just wanted to kick him out. I'm really surprised how my parents were okay with me marrying him. Jokes, they love him. But I was shocked. I'm just like, what did you just say?
I'm surprised I was even at the wedding, because even otherwise in weddings, BYO wedding is not really that commonplace, because they still have a caterer. They have very strict
Rules.
cutoff when it
Yeah.
comes to the number of guests, which is not at all the case for
Oh, no.
Indian weddings. Like we had people, God even knows who came. Some
My wedding, I remember putting hard stops, right?
Mhm.
At the count, 250. But, fun fact, my first birthday, my mom told me they invited 450 people. My first birthday. So there were more people at my first birthday than my wedding. Thank God I
Yep.
put some stops.
Our parents did not listen. We had 1,200 people come to. Wow, it was painful. I don't even know half, most of them. I wish we did a BYO. Most of them would not have turned up.
Her parents would be like, who are you? Are you our daughter? But again,
Even, like having a guest cut off is unacceptable.
oh yeah. I know, because my wedding, people were so upset. They literally called my dad and they're like, how can you not invite us? Which was completely, because again, I've lived here for 10 years. When I moved here, it was really early. No one really spoke about weddings. So I didn't know too much how it works, right? So it was really surprising for me that how can someone just call you and scream at you for not being invited?
The best part is there'll be some family member who calls and says, oh, like, they would have never met you beyond one time when you were like
Yeah.
a 2-year-old or something, being like, oh, how can we not come for this little girl's like wedding? Like, I've seen her once XYZ times ago. You so would love to be part of this big celebration, and you're just, who are you? I'm sorry.
So when over here, when we see it's like, again, hard stops, boundaries, I think it's great. I think it's really cool.
Depends on who you ask. If we
Yeah.
take this back to our parents, they'll probably come at us with chappals.
No, I feel like no. After my wedding, my parents are completely like my brother's wedding. They're like 50 people maximum. This is not happening. They're completely scarred with it. They're like, nope, this is not happening.
Also, there's
I feel they're an
thought
exception
in
though.
a little bit, I think. But there's also this thought in India, I think they have this general feeling that, oh, they invited us to their wedding. We've had the
Yes.
food over there. So
Yeah,
we
that's
kind of have to invite them. Yeah.
yeah.
A lot of it comes from, I guess, societal pressure,
It is,
expectations,
yeah.
and what they may talk about if we don't invite them, the wrath of some unknown person. Oh la la, oh God. Can you imagine?
Mhm.
Anyway.
It's really funny to me. But that's the thing. A lot of it, of course, we grew up with, right? And we still carry it here, carry it forward. But some of them, I'm just like, we've also assimilated here. So it's
Well, there's one. Like back home, we're kind of used to having people just drop in unannounced, and it's just normal. It's not
Yeah,
something we
yeah.
even thought that we were going to get irritated by or anything like that.
100%.
But we wouldn't get irritated as long as, it wasn't someone who we didn't want to see.
Yeah.
Or someone who came in and ruined our plans for the day, like some relatives. But like friends coming by, just dropping in because they were in the
Anytime.
area, was
Absolutely.
completely normal.
Yes.
But which I wonder if it's a new scenario at the moment where they always like make appointments when they drop in.
I think
Like when we came over here, we thought that's the norm over here.
yeah.
I only say that and completely naive the way that I think because it comes from a comic book. But you know how they say art mimics reality? And growing up, I used to read the Archie comics quite a bit. And over there, they'd always show friends just dropping in and checking if their friends there and they can come out to play. So it used to be like that once upon a time over there as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the fact that right now, like no one just drops in unannounced, not even people you'd love to meet, any just random day. Like
It has to be kind of planned, or even if it's spontaneous, it's like, hey, are you okay? More like taking permission.
Are you free?
Are you okay for me to come in?
Yeah.
But back at home, and now I grew up in a joint family of 17 people, right? That means there are more chances of other people coming in. So I always had like guests in the house. In fact, is a fun story, which I know you know, but I think I should say this. One time, I remember I was 18 and I didn't go to school for whatever reason. And I wake up and I suddenly see like 40 people in the house. And I was shocked. And I'm like, was I not invited to something in my own house? Apparently, this is something that happens every year. And I just didn't know about it.
What time did you wake up every year versus this particular?
I was in school every year, right? And I was like, is that normal? Does that actually happen? But yeah, so it's just really normal for anyone to rock up back home. Maybe not so much nowadays because everyone's busy and things are changing. But back in the days, 100%.
Yeah,
right.
You know how in our general custom, since you're talking about coming over and taking food, when we obviously sharing food, sharing any sort of celebratory things is just commonplace. But when we give a plate or a box of food to someone, it's general practice for everyone, like to a point where one doesn't even have to expect it, even though there are probably unset expectations. To never return a box empty.
Yeah.
Not sure where that comes from. But
I think it stems from that never let anyone go hungry, so never let anyone just have an empty box. I don't know.
I guess so. But it's still really lovely. You never return the box empty, so there's always something in there, whether it be something else, like food, mostly food.
Yeah,
or always food.
Or like a little like anything. It can just be some chocolates if you...
Exactly. It doesn't have to be elaborate. It does not have to be something you have cooked. It just has to be full when you're giving it back.
Indians, we love food. And
sharing is caring.
Yeah. So any excuse to share. So the other thing that I just remembered on this is with parents, right? Mm-hmm. How if you're taking care of our parents when they're older, this is just, it's a duty, responsibility, which most of us have imbibed. Like, and again, you want to do it. So it's not like we're doing a favor on them. Or if I'm staying at my parents' place, they're not going to take rent from me. Now, this is this is again culturally different. Like, if so, me and my partner, he grew up here, I didn't, and we talk about it. I'm like, if we ever have kids, I want to pay for their tuition. I want to pay for I'm not gonna take rent for them from them. My husband's like, no, you're just gonna like spoil them. And for me, my Indian brain, I'm like, no, my parents didn't do that for me. How can I not pay for my child's education?
Yeah, it's a thought of what they
So-
think spoils them versus not, because I
Yeah.
wouldn't say we're necessarily spoiled. We don't think we're entitled. But doesn't it also stem from a thought that you brought the kid to the world, so essentially what you want from them, like education in Asia, ultimately
Let's
like
face it,
having at
yes.
least a basic level education, whatever they consider basic,
Yeah,
is the parents' responsibility.
100%.
Also, it can be a PhD, it can be a bachelor's.
But whatever it is, right? And of course, whatever you can afford also.
Yeah.
But it's normal to accept that. Oh, if my parents can afford it, they would want to do
Yeah.
it. And there is no thought of like, oh yeah, I have to pay rent to my parents for staying.
Yeah, the whole idea is
Yeah.
that's your home, you just stay there, you don't really pay rent to stay
Yeah.
at home.
These were some of the things which were common for us growing up, and we'd love to know some of your culture shocks.
Leave them in the
So
comment section below.
and see you next time. Like, share, subscribe.